Do you want to know about the war that lasted only 38 minutes? Then, stay tuned. In 1896, the British Empire went to war with the Sultanate of Zanzibar, a small but strategically significant island nation off the coast of East Africa. Today, we remember this conflict as the shortest war in history, lasting a mere 38 to 45 minutes on the morning of August 27, 1896. But why did these two world powers go to war, and how did Britain decisively win one of history's shortest conflicts? To understand the Anglo-Zanzibar War, we must first examine the history of the region. In 1890, Zanzibar had been a British protectorate for a few years, though it still maintained a local sultanate with its own government. The British exercised indirect control, influencing Zanzibari politics to ensure that rulers aligned with their interests, particularly regarding trade and the abolition of slavery. Tensions that would eventually boil over into war began when Sultan Hamad bin Thawani, who had cooperated with the British, died suddenly on August 25, 1896. Some believe that he was poisoned, though this is disputed. His successor, Khalid bin Bargash, seized power immediately without British approval. Khalid was seen as hostile to British interests, especially because he opposed their anti-slavery policies. The British, who favored their own candidate, Hamad bin Mohammed, declared that Khalid's rule was illegitimate and demanded that he step down. Khalid refused, however, and instead barricaded himself in the palace with 2,800 men, 40 of whom were Europeans. He also had at his disposal around 200 artillery pieces, along with a small naval force consisting of a gunboat and a steam yacht. Determined to resist the British, Khalid's forces fortified the palace grounds, stockpiled food and supplies, and prepared to hold out as long as possible. The British, on the other hand, assembled a naval squadron consisting of 3 warships, HMS St. George, HMS Philomel, and HMS Raccoon, 2 smaller gunboats, HMS Lively and HMS Locust, and around 150 Marines and sailors under the command of Rear Admiral Sir Harry Rawson. On the morning of August 27, 1896, after diplomatic efforts had failed, Rear Admiral Rawson delivered an ultimatum to Sultan Khalid. It gave him until 9 a.m. to surrender. When he refused, the British opened fire at precisely 9:02 am. Over the next 40 minutes, the British bombarded the palace and its surrounding fortifications with heavy artillery fire. Within minutes, many of the wooden buildings in the area were in flames, and thick black smoke billowed over the city. The Zanzibari defenders were no match for the British firepower, and by 9:15 a.m., they had suffered heavy casualties. At the same time, the Royal Navy opened fire on the HHS Glasgow, the Sultan's Navy's only vessel, and quickly sank it. The British also destroyed all of the Sultan's artillery positions and killed or wounded most of his men. By 9:40 a.m., a direct hit on the palace forced Sultan Khalid to flee through the back entrance. He sought refuge in the German consulate, leaving his forces leaderless and the battle effectively over. The remaining Zanzibari forces surrendered soon after, bringing an end to the war, just 38 to 45 minutes after it had begun. Though short, the war had long-lasting effects. Sultan Khalid was captured and exiled. The British installed Hamad bin Mohammed as the new Sultan of Zanzibar, and under British influence, Zanzibar abolished slavery completely, effectively becoming a puppet state. The Sultanate lost all of its sovereignty, and its foreign policy was controlled by the British. Furthermore, the war had wider consequences as it demonstrated the rapid military superiority of European empires during the colonial era. The British victory also had a significant impact on the balance of power in East Africa, where the Germans had been expanding their influence. By securing control over Zanzibar, the British prevented the Germans from gaining access to the important port of Dar es Salaam, which would have challenged British interests in the region. In conclusion, the Anglo-Zanzibar War, though short in duration, had profound historical consequences. It left Zanzibar severely weakened and under British domination, shaping the political and social dynamics of East Africa for decades to come. The war also stands as a stark reminder of the ruthlessness and efficiency of the British Empire during its quest for global domination. Still here? Have you subscribed to our channel? Share this video, like, and comment.